People don't even make 375 in their lifetime. How you gonna tell them at that?
The average person makes 50,000 a year. What are you talking about?
What? Nah,
it costs more, but people are still making 48, 50,000 a year, Ocho.
No, they are not. Man, you tripping. Go ahead.
According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, the average U.S. salary in 2023 was $59,384. That's average. But even if you made $20,000 a year, in 20 years, that's more than $375,000.
Chad Ochocinco's ignorance needs to be studied, and this is the problem with new media. Anybody who's had a sports career can now jump into the podcast game to make that extra money because they have the built-in cachet of having played the game at the highest level, which is fair enough. However, the term media training exists for a reason. It's not the same when you're espousing opinions as a player than when you are espousing opinions as a member of the media. Whether it's through social media, podcasting or not, Nightcap has 1.5 million subscribers. And shortly after having this conversation and the ignorance of his co-host is an especially bad look given the timing. Let's talk. Cue my intro. Hello YouTube fam, it's Big V, all that good stuff. I'm actually a little too triggered at this moment to do my regular intro. Let's just get right to it. I understand the appeal of Chad Ochocinco, or let's just call him Ocho for the rest of this because it's too long. I respect Ocho a lot. I think he's funny, very talented player, and obviously has a great hustle and grind. He also has established a very strong and smart brand around being one cheap son of a gun who loves to consume McDonald's. So he's no stranger to saying crazy things, and it's also helped him. I'll acknowledge that, and we will take that into consideration. However, there's a great saying. It's called time and place, and that means that there is a good time and a good place to say certain things. It's not a good time to say this.
Listen, 375 is a lot of goddamn money. I don't care how you slice it, how you could get.
For a lifetime? For a lifetime.
And then argue with this.
You know, some people in this world won't even see $1 million.
That's I said 375. I didn't say no million.
$1 million, 375, 500,000. But
And then when proven wrong, say this.
Lives below his 375 and lives below his means and lives the right way.
In this economy?
He's going to Europe. He's not here. He left.
Their economy worse than ours, Ocho. What are you talking about?
Where? In Europe?
Bruh, what a tragic nightmare of mental gymnastics. And you can see Shannon switching from irritation to confusion to irritation to bewilderment to then just anger. Because he's telling him statistics. He's saying the average American family makes this. And then this guy, upon hearing the news being disproven with his airy-fairy random guess, then says, oh, you can't trust the numbers. Then he attempts to shame Shannon by saying, oh, you are out of touch.
See, you out of touch with reality, man.
No, he's not, Ocho. I'm really sorry. But let's do some math for the mentally insane. The argument is $375,000 enough to live for a lifetime? Because a man did that and abandoned his family. Shannon Sharpe is saying it's not, because it's not. And Chad Ochocinco was arguing that amount of money, no one will see that in their lifetime. But he misses the point completely because, hey, Chad, if I make $37,500 a year, which is low, if I do that for 10 years, I've made $375,000. Yes, obviously I'm not getting it in a lump sum, but that's not the point. The point is, for the average American person, they will absolutely make or see $375,000 in their lifetime, which is the point. It's not that much money anymore. And that's the point Shannon Sharpe's trying to make. And then for Chad Ochocinco to have no knowledge of what the average American person makes. So now you are a man of the people, Chad? The guy who sponsored Up the Waz making millions? You can go back to living on $20,000 a year?
Shit, yeah.
Dude, that's insulting. You know why?
Listen, I can stretch
You cannot.
I've known people who've made 20,000 a year. They'll tell you the same thing. They ain't happy making 20K a year. It's not an ideal situation. They definitely hope to be making more. As Shannon Sharpe said, people do not make a lot of money anymore. And 375,000 would not last in today's day and age if you're trying to live on that for the rest of your life. And that's not an out of touch statement. Then the deflection goes to Europe. Hey, Chad, yeah, he's moving to Europe where the currency actually is stronger. So your dollars are actually worth less. No matter where you go in the world, you're not going to be able to just take 375K and live off it without investment or anything like that, unless you're going to like smaller places in Southeast Asia, because even bigger places where tourists go, that amount of money ain't working, right? And you have 1.5 million subscribers. You have the average American watching your platform. You just had Kamala Harris on the platform, and then now your co-host doesn't even know what the average American makes? Like, it's crazy. And then the argument just sort of devolves. I just stopped watching because I was laughing so hard. But it just made me ponder a little bit and made me want to watch this video. I was just blown away by this ignorance. You know, it's just crazy to me. On one hand, he's trying to act like Shannon Sharpe doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And then on the other hand, he's trying to say, oh, well, yeah, I could live off 20K a year. I mean, it's just absurd. And I think guys have to be a little more media trained before coming on that big of a podcast and talking to that many people. I was very fortunate to have a family that made more than the average. But I tell you what, there were times in my life when I made much lower than the average and it sucked. And I can speak for a lot of people who are in that current position today, and they don't want to hear some ex-athlete making millions that they could easily live their life and it would be all gravy.
Can you live off 20,000 a year?
Yeah, I make that bitch stretch.
It's just kind of ignorant and not reading the room. And again, this is specific to Chad Ochocinco. Shannon Sharpe is one of those rare exceptions where he's made that jump to television, because no matter how much Shannon Sharpe achieves, he remains humble and attacks things like a new guy. So he just is like a sponge. He's always trying to get better. He doesn't ever think he's the best at stuff. That's why he's always successful. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that it's going to apply to all ex-players. In fact, if you are an ex-player, it most likely means you are not gonna be a good media member. Those two things most of the time are like water and oil. Because the truth is, when you're part of the media, you don't just get to say whatever the hell is on your mind. You have to be a lot more curated. This is a prime example. Sort of a different departure from what I usually do, but you know, these are huge NBA commentators as well. And I think it's really important that if you have such a big platform, you speak with reality and try to talk to the vast majority of your audience, especially because they just had a presidential candidate on their platform.
Very exciting.
Drew attention to it. But
you raise the level of professionalism then, right? It can't just go back to now Ocho shooting from the mouth, man. Like, it's a bad look and it's just a little irritating, honestly. Like, listening to that conversation is like, dude, pick up a book, please. Use this tool. It's called Google, honestly.